In today's video, I go over the 2010 classic Dîner for Schmucks. This is a great underrated and underappreciated film that shows Steve Carell at his height of success. First, I'll quickly go over the plot, then how the movie came to be, why it didn't get the recognition it deserved, but why it's still secretly great. Dîner for Schmucks is about an up-and-coming corporate slouch named Tim, who has an opportunity to get ahead in his career by participating in his boss's annual dinner, where each coworker must bring an idiot to dinner to show off their idiotic talent, and whoever the boss thinks is the dumbest gets a prize. Tim's fiancée thinks the dinner is sick and cruel, so Tim says he won't do it. But then Tim meets Barry, who makes miniature models of taxidermied mice dressed like real people. Tim gives in and invites Barry to the dinner. Barry shows up at Tim's apartment, and a whirlwind of chaos and confusion occurs, leading to the potential crumbling of Tim's life. Paul Rudd and Steve Carell make for a great comedy duo, unlike anything we've ever seen. Dîner for Schmucks is based on the 1998 French film Dîner de Cons, which is based on a play. I watched it while doing research for this film, and although the original was still great, it left much to be desired when compared to the American adaptation. An Indian remake was also made that did quite well over in India. It was called Bheja Fry, and a sequel was made after Dîner for Schmucks called Bheja Fry 2. The French version, though, was much more cynical, with the main character being all in on the Dinner for Idiots idea so much that he had a dinner every week. Whereas Paul Rudd's character was more on the fence about it, and did it half-heartedly out of obligation. There were a lot of similarities between them. The main characters both had back problems. Their wife or fiancée was not on board with the dinner. Each of the idiots in the film took a particular hobby before or after their wife left them for another man. In the American version, Steve Carell's character made taxidermied mice art pieces, while in the French version, he made miniature models of famous architecture out of matchsticks. The French version felt very cheap compared to what we did in America. The budget was smaller, and a majority of the film takes place in one location. The comedy also didn't hit as hard in the French version. I'm no stranger to subtitles, and I watch a lot of world cinema, but reading jokes on the screen kills a lot of the comedic timing. And it goes without saying that no one does comedy quite as good as the Americans do. Feel free to fight me on that in the comments if you honestly think Steve Carell wasn't funny when compared to his French counterpart. Dîner for Schmucks was a much-needed expansion and evolution of the Dîner for Idiots movie idea. Dîner for Schmucks was directed by Jay Roach. You might know him as the director of the Austin Powers trilogy, the Meet the Parents franchise, The Campaign, and more recently, The Roses in 2025. Dîner for Schmucks is understandably overlooked compared to his other hits. The movie was filmed in and around LA. One recognizable venue is Fender. Tim's boss's mansion was the same mansion used as Wayne Manor in the 60s Batman TV show. Steve Carell chose for Barry to be left-handed, so he played him that way, even though he was right-handed in real life. When the film was in early development, Sacha Baron Cohen and Robin Williams were considered to play the role of Barry. Barry and Tim were to be played by Steve Martin and Bill Murray at one point as well. Jay Roach landed on Carell after seeing his work in Little Miss Sunshine, when Nick Kroll's character said the line,
"He took a stapler? How pitiful is that?"
It was a playful nod to Ron Livingston's role in Office Space. In Dîner for Schmucks, Ron Livingston played the cutthroat executive competing against Paul Rudd's character for his job. The set design was second to none, everything from Kieran Villard's avant-garde artwork and photography to the masterpieces that Barry builds. Also a shout out to Theodore Shapiro, who did the music. The French-style score was a nice homage to the original, and the opening song, Fool on the Hill by the Beatles, worked so well. A one-hit wonder that deserves way more recognition and opportunities in her career is Stephanie Sostak. I'm sure she was mainly picked so she would appeal to French audiences that watched the original film 12 years prior. But that doesn't mean she didn't absolutely nail this performance. Her ability to ground the story in reality and take the audience's perspective that forming a false connection with people that you think are beneath you is wrong added depth to an already three-dimensional comedy, deepening it that much more. Zach Galifianakis had a great guest appearance as Thurman, master of mind control. His character was perfect for him. Despite all the reasons it is great, on a budget of $62.7 million, it grossed $86.8 million worldwide, making it a box office flop. I think a part of the reason is the film's higher budget when it compared to its French counterpart. Dîner de Cons was made in 1998 on a budget of 82 million francs, which, if converted to US dollars and factored for inflation, would be roughly $21.9 million US dollars in 2010, as opposed to the $62.7 million in budgeting that Dîner for Schmucks got after tax credits. For reference, Date Night, which came out in April of 2010, the same year, was made on a budget of $55 million, with a more expensive cast and much more expensive stunts. They had helicopters, shootouts, and car chases. They also had really expensive filming locations in downtown New York City. It grossed $152 million worldwide. Then again, I can't blame the studio for taking a bet on Dîner for Schmucks, especially with the success that The Office was getting at the time. One of the reasons it flopped could have been that it was overshadowed by Inception 2 weeks earlier in theaters. And 2010 was an era where people went to the movies 3 or 4 times to see the same movie. I also think the plot of Dîner for Schmucks was too off the wall for a lot of audiences to bet on seeing. The elevator pitch for this movie is not great. Imagine you're a finance bro with a bad back and a girlfriend that doesn't really love you that much, and to work on the next highest floor in your building, you have to hit a recently divorced IRS agent / mouse taxidermist with your car and invite him to dinner so your assistant doesn't smell like coleslaw anymore. There are some movies you just really have to take a risk on seeing and hope you enjoy it. Which for a film buff like me, I do that all the time, but for someone who only goes to a movie theater 3 times per year, you're much more likely to see a big summer blockbuster like Inception. I still believe the Dinner for Idiots concept is a winning idea. It was a successful French play, French movie, and had 2 successful Indian remakes. Always Sunny even took the concept and ran with it in the season 8 episode Charlie and Dee Find Love. This was also the ultimate test to see if the Paul Rudd and Steve Carell comedy duo was a set-in-stone formula moving forward. With Carell and Rudd's 2 performances together, before this being Anchorman, where Will Ferrell carried the film, and The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which had a premise and title that sold itself. If Dîner for Schmucks works in theaters, there is an alternate reality where Carell and Rudd make many more movies together in classic Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello, and Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly fashion. A comedy duo for the ages. Luckily, both of them did go on to have much more success in their careers afterwards. I think Dîner for Schmucks is great for a few reasons. One of them being that Kieran Villard is perhaps the funniest stone-faced comedic character in movie history.
Sometimes I'll be working on a piece and I'll think, no, this is bullshit. So I will literally rub all excrement on the piece as a metaphor.
Another being Steve Carell's character Barry, who, like Michael Scott in The Office, has good intentions with poor execution. And like Scott, Barry's sense of woe reels people in to his web of chaos so he can fill the hole by being liked by others. At different times in my life, I have felt like Barry Speck. I've gotten really invested in hobbies in my free time, and I too have a tendency to overshare. I also have the thing of wanting to be everyone's best friend, regardless of what others might secretly think about me. I think the older you get, the more you realize that a healthy friendship has a good balance of give and take, whereas someone like Barry could have good intentions and get easily taken advantage of by trying to be a good friend. Paul Rudd's character arc in Tim is also very interesting. Tim is also on a mission to get people to like him, but not for the same reasons Barry does, where he just wants a friend. Tim wants to be liked by his coworkers and his boss so he can get a bigger paycheck and a nicer office. On the journey that Tim goes on by attempting to use Barry, the supposed idiot, to make fun of him so his boss will like him and so his girlfriend will marry him, he comes to the realization that he is the idiot for wanting a bunch of jerks at work to like him and for thinking that money mattered more to Julie than honesty does. But most of all, Tim realized that people like Barry, who might be a bit much to deal with and a bit annoying, still had a story to tell. People like Barry deserve to have a friend. They matter, because they don't look to others for what they can do for them. They're not constantly looking for how they can improve their station or status in life by manipulating others to get what they want. Dîner for Schmucks deserves to have a similar cult following to that of Step Brothers because of all of the quotable dialogue and incredible cast of comedic giants that participated. It came out in a very competitive time in comedy movie history, a time when it was normal to spend $60 million on a comedy, back when movies like Due Date and Grown Ups easily broke $200 million in theaters. If Dîner for Schmucks was a streaming original on Netflix in 2026, it would easily be top 10 thanks to so many audiences hungry for more movies like this. Let me know what you thought of Dîner for Schmucks, and bonus points if you saw it in 2010 in theaters. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, check out some of my other videos on the channel, and thanks for watching.